Hello and welcome to Mighty Obstacle Studios' month in review for May 2024. There's been a lot of movement here, quite literally and figuratively, so it's time to go over it. First up is the last character I'm going to reveal. This is Chief Marty. He's the current leader of Scout spy organization she works for, Chief Supplies. Chief Supplies is basically like a combination of Tom Clancy and the Kingsmen. They make their money by selling their stories of espionage, but change a few things to keep people off their tails. Chief is also a title, as he's obtained it after many years of service with Chief Supplies. He's a very no-nonsense kind of guy who barely displays emotions, even in serious situations. Although, he's also a very down-to-earth person and very reasonable to talk to, even letting people use company property to do things on their off time. Oh, also yes, he's a dog chimera. Only him and Scales are major characters that are. However, he's going to be the last one I reveal, as the other characters are spoilers, so I'll leave them as secrets. Now let's talk about the alpha and the critiques that followed after. It looks like the patrons really enjoyed the level design. The game was moving very smoothly and it didn't sound like there were any performance hiccups either. However, critiques were lobbied on the combat and momentum. It seems that with the combat, Scout was locked in a direction when doing ground combos. As well, maybe having a launcher at the end of the combo wasn't great. So a few tweaks later, Scout can now turn mid-combo and has a dedicated input for launchers. The next thing was the momentum. It looks like that when Scout went fast, she didn't seem to jump very high on some angled floors. Scout has the same system for momentum that Sonic games have. If you move down when jumping, you'll jump less high because you're moving down. As well, Sonic curls into a ball, making him look smaller. As soon as I did the same with Scout, well, it seems to be pretty accurate. That's not to say I shouldn't keep my eyes peeled for stuff like this, but it was something I needed to double check on. With those changes put in place, I made a new alpha for people to check out to make sure the combat was fun. However, I did it the day before I'm recording this, so I have no idea how people reacted to it yet. Next is that the enemies actually have AI now. Using a finite state machine, enemies can now chase Scout. Even here, it's easier to swap out their states to other states because I don't have to make them forced to use a specific class. So enemies can have a very simple flying version with the click of a boolean. Since I got that done, it's much easier to make enemies, so expect to see a lot more of them because they all have simple designs right now. I just need to make them into 3D models. Now I've got some new hires to talk about. There's a writer we recently hired going by a very angry Skaven. He's been doing an awesome job refining the script so it doesn't look like a programmer, director, designer, artist, producer wrote it. Honestly, he's done a good job, especially when it comes to Scales, because he sounds much more sophisticated and insane all at once. It takes a lot to do that. He'll also be serving as a translator in the future too, because he also knows Italian. With future staff, I'm still looking at composers. I was going to get around to them this month, but a lot of payments later on things caught up to me. So next month for sure. As well, there are potentially more translations than just Italian, as I also have French, German, and Latin American Spanish as future potentials too. I do want to do Turkish again as well, but I don't know if it'll be available at launch. So now it's time for the lightning round of things, so let's get into it. She can duck now. Her slide now has deceleration, so it's not just ice physics. Scales got a slight redesign to look more lizardy. Got pixel-perfect UI scaling figured out. Made sliding and attack. Got goals working, at least in a rudimentary way. Also put reminders in to use my Twitter account now, and actually did do that. So it'll have more posts. Great! Advertising! Lastly, I got my backup computer set up for Scouter because I didn't do that yet. But it's ready to go now. So, expect some rapid progress soon. A lot of the main stuff is coded, so you'll find that some more finished-looking stages and enemies are down the pipeline. If I play my cards right, you'll also hear some music too. However, a lot of stuff happened this month, so I did duck out a little earlier than usual to make this month in review. Even so, there was still a lot to cover, so for this month's recommendation, I'm recommending the Mega Man Zero series. I love these games, some more than others, but they're really fun action platformers. This series is also an inspiration for Necrolepsy, and especially for Scouter. It is being pushed much harder in Scouter's case. So give these games a shot, because you can also just get the Zero and ZX collection and just play it that way too. I'll warn you right now though, they're quite challenging. So I'll see you all next month.